This video is about calibrating your XL20 or XL9. What we will do is to teach the instrument the position of a tube at A01 in the rear left-hand corner. We will do the same for the forward right-hand corner. The XL20 will then calculate all the other tray positions. First is to open a connection to the XL20 via hyperterminal or putty. Detailed instructions are available from BioMicroLab. In the terminal environment, keystrokes are invisible until you hit enter. If you make a typo, do not try to delete it, simply hit enter and then clear it with the KL command. Any response that is not 00 should be followed by the KL command. To record the existing configuration for backup, type DC and hit enter. The configuration data will display. Highlight it and use Ctrl-C to copy it. Paste it into a Word or Notepad document and save it for future reference. Next, we will place a rack at tray position 1 on the XL instrument. Use one that does not require a rack adapter if possible. If not, use the default labware type, which can be found in the configuration data you copied. Place the rack on the deck. Next, you will uncap any tubes you're going to use. Then, place a tube at A01. You will also place tubes at H1 and A12. These are used for visual alignment. Before entering teach mode, we clear errors with the KL command, and then TM opens the teach mode. First, type KL and hit enter. If the response is not 00, please try again. Next, press TM and hit enter. The teach menu should display. In teach mode, there is no need to press enter. Do not use the arrow keys. Hit escape to exit any part of teach mode. If teach mode is not working, escape, use the KL command, and try again. Select option 4 to teach tray positions. The XL will go home. Next, you'll be asked if you want to erase the position. Press N for no. When asked if you want to teach the positions, press Y for yes. For calibrating tray positions, use the keypad, so turn numlock on. If you do not have a keypad, the keyboard keys work as well. The 6 key will move the gripper to the right. Notice that we use individual key clicks. The 4 key will move the gripper to the left. The 2 key will move the gripper forward, and the 8 key will move the gripper backward. Press the 1 key to move the grippers down. To move up, press the 9 key. Increments control how much the machine moves for each key click. To increase the increment, press plus. The increment will double. To decrease the increment, press minus. The increment will divide by 2. On the first keystroke, important data will be displayed, such as the coordinates and the size of the increment. It is time for visual alignment. Guide the gripper fingers so that they are hovering over the tube at A01. Use the plus key to increase increments for larger movements. If you have a vertical collision at this stage, use the escape key to exit out of teach mode, and then use the KL command to clear the error. Use the minus key for finer control as you get near the tube. To align the x-axis, there are 2 key concepts. One is to use the tube in front to line up the tube in the back. The next concept is to align the fingers not to one position of the tube, but to the range of motion. As the rack slides around, it should be even on the left and on the right. The same concept applies to the y-axis alignment. Visually sight down the 2 tubes and then align the pick fingers to the forward and back movement of the tray. We are now ready to teach the Z height. Press P to open the fingers. Move the Z-axis down so that the rim of the tube is centered within the notch on the fingers. I'm reducing the increment to get a fine adjustment on the height. This is the right height for push cap tubes. For machines with screw cap tubes, move the fingers down until the rim of the tube is above the fat part of the fingers. Leave enough room for the cap. A very important concept is that the p-value needs to change from 0 to 1 as you move down to teach the z-axis. When you move to the proper height for the tube you're using, make sure the p-value is 1. Failure to do this will result in vertical collision errors. Okay, we're almost there. We're going to fine-tune the teaching by opening and closing the fingers and checking for any movement in the rack. Open and close the fingers by alternately hitting the O and the P keys. First, push the rack to the left. Open and close the fingers and make sure the rack does not move back to the right. Next, push the rack to the right. Open and close the fingers and make sure it does not move to the left. Next, push the rack to the rear. Make sure it does not move forward when the fingers close. Finally, push the rack forward and make sure it does not move to the rear when the fingers close. Let's look at some examples of what to do if there is tray movement. In this example, the rack is pulling to the left, which means the pick head is too far to the left. Make small movements to the right to correct this. After making any adjustments, make sure to recheck for tray movement. In this example, the tray is being pulled forward, which means the gripper needs to move a few steps to the rear. When there is no more tray movement, hit Enter to save the setting. After you save, you'll be asked if you want to teach the next corner. Press Y for yes. Move the rack from tray position 1 to tray position 20. When asked to erase the position, press N for no. Press Y for yes when asked if you want to teach the position. At corner 3, you're going to repeat the same things from the previous corner. First, do a visual alignment, followed by moving to the correct Z height. Make sure that P is 1, do fine-tuning, and then hit Enter to save. After saving corner 3, hit Escape to exit Teach mode. For our new settings to take effect, we need to reset the XL instrument. Type RST space 9999 and hit Enter. There should be a slight pause, and then the XL should return to home position. For a final check, we're going to pick tubes and check for tray movement using the demo mode. We will need a full rack of tubes. Place the full rack at tray position 1. Type demo space 0 space 0 space 1. The XL instrument should start picking tubes one by one. As we did when we were calibrating tray positions, push the rack in all 4 directions. Allow it to pick a few tubes before pushing the rack in a different direction. The rack should not move as the gripper is picking tubes. If you notice movement, it's time to go back and recalibrate the tray position until there is no movement detected. To test the opposite corner, type demo space 19 space 19 space 1. Again, push the rack in all 4 directions to check for movement. If there isn't any movement, you're all done. Congratulations, you've calibrated your XL instrument. Thank you for working with BioMicroLab.